Hey, we're live.
Oh, we're live. Speaking of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Hong Kong. I love Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I love Hong Kong.
I'm a fan of Hong Kong right now.
Dude, so like there was a video online that showed they were all gathered around this roadway and they had a bunch of like barriers and stuff, and there was like an ambulance or a fire truck that was supposed to come through. And all at once, all the protesters went up and started moving all the stuff so the emergency services vehicle could get through. It was fire, EMS. It wasn't a police unit. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they would have beat the crap out of the police.
They might not have moved the barriers for that one.
But they moved the barriers, let the dude pass, and then they covered it, and then they went back. Right? Like those dudes, they're sitting over here spray painting on walls things that we used to say and like that our founding fathers used to say, give me liberty or death. History will absolve us. I'm just sitting here like, I've never wanted to give guns to so many people in my entire life.
We're watching a literal birth. It's like if somebody in France,
the fires of liberty.
It's like if somebody was in France was watching America in 1776.
We're watching
you know what I mean?
the sparks
that's
of
what
liberty.
we're like. That's what we're like in France's position right now, watching something that could potentially turn into that, you know.
And you know, man, like I really hope we, you know, to segue into what the big topic is right now that I'm pretty incensed about. I'm not surprised they're not like outright asking us for arms, because it may be a contrarian opinion, but as you can see, guys, up there betraying the Kurds and American tradition, I am so frustrated with our foreign policy when it comes to the people that we choose to support and then pull our support away. It happened with the Afghans after the Soviets invaded. We supported the Mujahideen then, and then we left them high and dry. Who took their place? The Taliban.
Yep.
You know, the Kurds, they supported us when we went in against Saddam in the first Gulf War. And then we pulled out and told them to try their own uprising, and they got gassed for their trouble.
Yep.
Despite us betraying them then, in 2003, when we went to invade again, the CIA embedded dudes and special forces embedded dudes with them, and they helped us topple the regime in like 3 weeks.
With the Peshmerga.
Yeah. And they asked, hey, can we have like our own state? And we're like, nah, we'll give you to the Iraqi government, let them decide, which obviously the Iraqi government's like, heck no, you can't have your own state.
Right.
Then when ISIS came about, the Kurds again rose up to the challenge and said, hey, we'll help you guys fight. Now
is Kurdistan sitting on some like crazy natural resources why they won't give these guys their own piece of the pie?
I don't know.
I mean, because it's an individual culture. It's an individual culture of great people. I've worked with the Kurds. They're phenomenal people.
Super friendly.
And, you know,
very friendly.
Very, very friendly.
You know, like, I mean, and it's frustrating that we keep doing this. And I know it's a tactical decision that's coming from on high. I don't agree with it. I know John doesn't agree with it.
It pisses me off.
But I'm curious as to why. I would like to know the underlying causes. Like, I mean, I'm hoping that there's more to that story than just us.
I'm almost shaking
with a terrible reasoning.
Yeah, backing away because Turkey's like, hey, we're gonna like roll in now.
Yeah,
I'm almost shaking. Because it makes me so mad.
Yeah, I mean, it bothers me.
We were talking about this before the show. America used to be, at least, viewed by the rest of the world as the city on the hill.
Yeah.
And remember, we talked about it a couple weeks ago when the stuff with Hong Kong first started, when they started singing our national anthem and saying that they want Second Amendment rights, and they started, you know, spray painting sayings from Patrick Henry, "Give me liberty or give me death," on walls and stuff. And I said, they still believe in the ideal of what America is.
Yeah.
What we were supposed to be. An example to the world that people from all walks of life could come together and live in peace with one another. And we could have liberty, and we could do this golden rule, treat others how you would be treated, right? And we're supposed to be that. And then these people that have helped us and they've shed their blood next to us, we're going to let Turkey run over them all for the want of Incirlik Air Base. Probably. Yeah. That's what I'm guessing it is.
That's my best guess as well. It has something to do with strategic, you know, with the strategic, you know, position of Turkey or whatever.
It makes me so mad, you know, and I'm reminded of I don't remember who said it. It's a quote, and I can't remember who said it. It's, you know, patriotism is what is it? I'm gonna paraphrase it. I'm gonna butcher it, but he said it was to the effect of like, you love your country all the time, but you hate when it makes bad decisions, and you're not afraid to criticize it. And this, in my opinion,
Well, that's freedom, dude. That's the First Amendment.
But somebody made a quote about it. I don't remember. It was like, patriotism is this or that. But the point is, like, I'm critical of this because, man, what's going to happen in 10 years? In 10 years after maybe like China and Russia have been dealt with, are we going to find ourselves on or in trouble with another terror group that was fermented out of Kurdistan being betrayed by us? Like, is that something?
I hope not.
Are the guys that we used to fight next to now going to be our enemies because we just left them high and dry with Turkey?
I definitely hope not. I can't, like, they are going to fight. And the Kurds have said, like, we are going to kick butt and take names and
and these guys are indoctrinated.
Rally against Turkey if they come in and decide that they want to, like, take our,
The
take ownership.
The Kurds announced all out war. It was a quote. The Kurds said all out. This means all out war.
Yep.
And it makes me mad because Turkey's sitting here and they're like, oh, we're gonna go and do all this, and we're kowtowing to them because we want to get rid of the Russian influence there because they've cozied up next to Russia. The whole deal with the F-35 versus the S-400 anti-air system and all that. And we're talking about like leaving NATO, and all that jazz. We're trying one last ditch attempt to get Turkey back on our side. And I feel like we're just sacrificing some of our best friends who have had no reason to be on our side, and yet they've come and been on our side and helped us.
Better friends than Turkey. Because Turkey's supposedly been our friends, but the Kurds have proven
the Kurds have bled next to us.
Better friends.
They've legitimately sacrificed and brought something to the table and helped us, when we needed it, when we needed a strategic ally during those conflicts, and Turkey didn't.
Yeah.
No. They denied us use of their airspace.
Sat from afar, and they were
everything.
Really not into that.
Basically, everything that Turkey did, everything that Turkey could have done, the Kurds did.
Yeah.
And we're sacrificing them for some geopolitical. I just wish we'd be as a nation get back to our ideals.
So we're not pulling out all the way.
We're just moving them from the air.
Hopefully, there is a larger strategy in play here that we may not realize yet. TBD.
TBD.
That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping that it's a general officer decision on a strategic level that we just don't see, And granted, we shouldn't see, I don't like that.
I get it, but it just looks bad in the newspaper
now.
Because,
for sure.
Because what if you're the Kurds? What are you thinking right now?
Oh, well, they said it out loud in the news.
Yeah.
They said it out loud in the news. They were like, we feel that America's ditching us, and that we've just lost one of our really good friends. Like they have clearly said, like, we feel like this is America, like, telling us deuces, amigos.
Yeah, and then the other part of it is this question, right? How is this going to affect future relationships with people that we want to be allies with? Who can trust us? Who wants to trust us?
It's like we've seen what you did with this, we've seen what you did with these guys, we've seen what you did with these guys, this time. They have examples.
In the short term, it may be a tactically good decision to cozy up to Turkey. Long term, are we ever going to be able to be trusted by any of our allies again if we keep just like putting them up on the platter to be devoured by our enemies?
Yeah.
Like, is that going to be good for us in 20, 30, 40, 50 years?
But I think in this case, it's even weirder because neither one of them are our enemies. I mean, we're allies with both of them. And it's hey.
Friends are better friends.
Like, I get it. Like, maybe it's just an American stance to be like, you know what? We're friends with both of you. We don't want to take a stance here.
Oh, we're being the Swiss.
We don't want to be the. So it's almost like, are we being Switzerland right now in this?
I feel like we should assert some dominance as the United States and say, hey,
go in there and mediate.
You stay on your side.
We need to mediate. We need to go in there and be like, Turkey, you are not allowed to do this.
Yeah.
Why? What are you going to do about it? We'll support them. They've been our faithful allies, as have you guys, but we're not going to allow you to be aggressive towards them because of cultural differences. You can coexist. It's fine.
And alternatively, we should also go to the Kurds and be like, look, you're not going to retaliate this because we're also on their team.
Yeah.
All right? We're trying to build a one team, one fight mentality. Let's work together.
We should.
Let's come to the table. I agree with that. I think that's what really should happen.
That would be a better
was that
option
not what
for
we
sure.
were
Originally trying to do.
intent?
That's
is
the
that
original
not the original intent of America?
Yeah.
Is to, I don't always like it when we throw
Syria,
our big
really.
military wing around, but
I mean,
But that was
we
the
do
intent
it
of
to
us going to
mediate it.
Syria.
if we
to
got
begin
it,
with.
let's use it for the correct reasoning.
Exactly.
You know, yeah,
Right.
I agree with that.
Corey Pooler, patriotism is supporting your country all the time and your government when it deserves it. Mark Twain. That's what I was trying to go. That's how I feel about this whole thing. Is like I think our country is making a horrible mistake with this. Like, and you look back to Hong Kong. Does Hong Kong want to ask us for help, seeing how we've treated the Kurds?
I think right now they probably do.
Right now, yeah. But like,
right now they
are we
probably
gonna
do.
like if we armed, let's say, for instance, we armed Hong Kong. It's a very way out there premise.
Sure.
Right? Let's say we armed Hong Kong, and then China goes, if you stop supporting Hong Kong, we'll give you a really favorable trade deal. What then? Like, are we gonna allow the fires of liberty to be squashed because China is giving us a favorable trade deal?
I sincerely hope not.
Isn't
Like,
that
but
going along
based
with
on
your
what we're seeing with the Kurds.
Well, see, and that's where I'm talking about. Like with China, it goes into economic growth and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
With Turkey, what are they giving us? Camel cigarettes? That's it. You know what I mean? So it's like, what are we doing here? You know, like, I don't know. Istanbul's airport's nice. It's not that nice.
I mean, well, like we said, it's Incirlik Air Base. We want Incirlik Air Base to be a deterrent against any sort of Russian aggression in the area.
Yeah.
That's what we want. We want that. And to be fair, like, Turkey hasn't been that great of a friend. Back last year, they accused us of fermenting a coup against the president. The coup was started and the plan was hatched out of Incirlik Air Base. And so I'm kind of sitting here like, yeah, we know you're our friends, but you're not really, like, you're accusing us of stabbing you in the back.
They've been walking a fine line for years.
You're getting the S-400. Like, you're not. I wouldn't call Turkey a friend. I'd call him an acquaintance.
Yeah, at this point, I think it's getting there, and maybe that's part of the reasoning behind them doing this. Again, this is all speculation. We don't know because we don't know the actual plan or the tactics involved.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not yet. I'm sure in the coming days, some stuff's gonna get revealed because we're definitely starting to see, a major, come to head, and so I'm sure some stuff's gonna come to light pretty soon that we'll be able to see, like, what exactly is going on and what was the reason for this strategical move. I mean, obviously it's strategical. Like that's something we can all agree on is that there's some sort of strategy involved with us kind of backing away and letting Turkey come in. But let's see what exactly.
Like maybe we'll draw like some kind of one of those
something.
red line in the sand type of deals.
Right, like we talked about before, where it's like, okay, like.
We've drawn red lines in the sand before, and what's come of it? A whole lot of nothing.
Called ISIS. ISIS came with it.
ISIS came.
Yeah.
So moving on. We spent about like half the show on this.
Yeah.
According to Japan's Coast Guard, a North Korean fishing boat struck a patrol ship for the Japanese fisheries agencies this morning in the sea between Japan and the Korean Peninsula. So I kind of think they're actually being clever. I think these dudes wanted to defect.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
And they're like, oh no, we're gonna hit the boat. No, we have to bail and get rescued. Now can we stay in Japan?
Yes. While we're here.
Do you mind if we defect?
Hey man, is it cool if we just kind of hang out at this embassy where we're safe?
It's weird to defect to Japan, given the cultural tension between the two nations. But getting out of North Korea is almost worth it.
Japan, North Korea.
Like when you you leave communist North Korea and then you show up on the shores of Japan, you're like, wow, this is nice.
Oh, look, y'all's grocery stores have food.
You mean I can just go buy this?
You mean if I get money, I can go buy this? You mean I can say something about somebody that's elected and I'm not going to spend the rest of my life working?
Is that a television?
Big rocks into
what?
The little rocks? What's this internet thing?
You guys
speaking of internet,
that's crazy.
Iraq currently has none.
No, Iraq. The world is falling apart,
dude.
The world is
what is that about? Like, why are they just like, hey,
the chair is against the wall? The chair is against the wall.
Oh, snap.
John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache.
Well, time to go, guys.
Yeah, like
Eagle.
is it
Landed.
time that we have that, talk about the cooler in the sky? That's the big cooler in the sky, the big igloo. No. Okay. Never mind.
I'm so confused.
Never mind.
So what's interesting is, not only are there protests going on in Iraq, but actually while I was out and about yesterday afternoon, there were some protests here locally in the park.
For Iraq?
For Iraq. Iraqi flags, Iraqi translators and stuff that have
In
since
Texas?
moved to right here in San Antonio. Yep. Right here at a
they're
park.
not happy.
You know what? America.
Yeah,
That's what
they're
I say
not
to that.
happy with the
Exactly.
level of progress in creating jobs and the level of corruption. The Iraqi government's corrupt? You don't? What? Who would have thought?
You mean a government that was born out of absolute chaos isn't completely together?
I mean, to be fair, like, pretty corrupt here too. We just pretend we're not.
Well,
I don't know what's more civilized.
But we don't go around cutting off the internet to the entire nation too.
I mean,
just
that's true.
To,
See, that's
tell
true.
some reporters to go.
You know what that's dangerous to resembling?
Hong Kong.
Communism. It's dangerously resembling communism.
You're already calling
cut
it
off the
authoritarian.
Yeah.
You're already
Yeah.
calling it authoritarian.
And you know what happened last time they
Not
had
all
that?
authoritarians are commies, but all commies are authoritarian.
Right.
Last time they had that
Same.
authoritarian mindset in Iraq, there was a little guy named Saddam that took power.
Yeah, he was kind of a jerk.
He was kind of a
He was kind of a
dick.
prick.
He was
Yeah,
kind of a dick.
he kind of gassed these people called the Kurds.
He did that. He did do that.
And there's the tie back.
And there's the tie back
There's the
to
ding.
why are we not helping the Kurds?
Yep.
So
It probably has to do with the fact we're
Life's
probably
a
not
circle,
helping
man.
the Kurds because our hand-to-hand combat in the Marine Corps is not up to par.
Oh,
Because in order
snap.
to advance in belts in McMap, now you have to hold a certain rank. It doesn't matter that you're going to be deployed downrange more than likely in the next 10 to 15 years. So you need to be as proficient as possible with your hand-to-hand combat. Unless you're a corporal, right? You cannot be a brown belt.
And the brown belt is the second highest.
It's the second highest.
For those of
And
you
you
who don't
cannot
know, the
be-
belt system in the Marine Corps martial arts program starts with you get tan in boot camp, then you go to gray.
Gray, and then
Gray
green.
gray is a must-have if you're
Infantry.
if you're
Right.
if you're combat support. Green is a must-have
Must-have
if you're infantry or direct combat. And then you can go as high as brown belt. You have to be a corporal now, according to this, and then black belt is your top guys.
You can't be trusting those lance corporals with, life-saving hand-to-hand combat.
I will
techniques.
tell you
that's
this
so
much.
weird. The army definitely is not. It's different levels.
Yeah.
And you
Can't
can
be trusted,
train
Lance
to do any level if you can
All right.
have the time to go to the school.
I'm not proud to admit this, but I'm a black belt in the Marine Corps martial arts program. All right, and
That's just because you were a line instructor before,
I instructed line before.
which I think we should go back to.
I do too. I liked it
Line
better.
was about killing. The Marine Corps is about killing.
The difference between brown belt and black belt is like 3 moves, man.
Yeah.
It's really not that big of a deal.
The number one thing I'll always remember about McMap is something one of our early on instructors told us, who I'm guessing was probably a line instructor as well. He said, "There's no counter to the beer bottle to the back of the head."
That's
Always
real
remember
true.
that.
That's
and there's
real
no
true.
counter to the
I
kick in
actually
the
have the
nuts.
stitches to prove that. I
To
have the
prove that?
scar
Yeah.
to prove that
Yeah.
that thing. Yeah.
So like everybody thinks they're all like basically what McMap was, in my opinion, after having like gotten out and actually like trained. McMap is a bastardization of like 15 different martial arts,
yeah.
and where they
Yeah.
do none of them really well, and like a few things okay.
I mean,
Well, I mean, 'cause
same
you
with
don't have
the
masters
army
teaching
combatives too.
No,
It's
you
me
don't.
teaching it.
It's not really Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, like I
Right.
guarantee you.
Yeah,
It's
you don't
not
have
really.
a purple belt in jiu-jitsu like actually rolling with you on a mat.
Yeah.
You have a staff sergeant that took a class from another guy who took a class from another guy.
We
Yeah.
had state wrestlers in our platoon, like guys that had gone to like state for just wrestling, who would beat the crap out of any McMap instructor I've ever met.
All the time.
Like they're
All the
just
time.
like, I'm gonna take you down because I'm a high quality, high caliber wrestler, and then I'm just gonna sit on top of you and pound your face in until it's mush.
I mean, you ask any guy who's like a professional MMA fighter, and he'll tell you one of the most important skills to have in that sport is wrestling.
Yeah.
Is a good wrestling background.
Exactly. And so you had all these like Midwest, like corn fed, like just farm strong freaking Midwest wrestlers who are just like, oh, that's a cute move. Here, I'm going to go and take you down.
Yeah,
and then you're on the ground getting your face beat in by like this 200-pound dude.
Look at like Matt Hughes.
oh.
Matt Hughes, that was the UFC great for forever. You know, he was just known as a
Combative
wrestler.
level 3.
You know, just known as Richard is combative
Richard
level
is a
3.
combative level 3. Richard,
Good
you want to show
job,
us some
Richard.
moves? You want to get on?
Yeah.
Richard, you want to get on camera and show us some of your combative level 3 moves?
None of
that'll
the coolest
happen.
moves I actually learned was not in combatives. It was actually my unit on a drill weekend. We had just a martial arts instructor come teach us, and I took down a dude literally like twice my size with like a super easy move. I was surprised. I was like, oh dang! All right, there's
I have a really good
lessons to
fighting
learn in
style
physics
nowadays.
and
One
whatnot.
of the coolest experiences I ever had with McMap is we were cross training with Israeli special forces, and they were teaching us Krav Maga while we were teaching them McMap.
And they were like laughing.
The differences were laughable.
Were they like sitting there going
It's
like, I can't do an Israeli accent, and I don't want to get in trouble for cultural appropriation. So
Yeah,
were they
let's
just
not
sitting
take
there like,
things.
this is a joke, guy? Like this is garbage. Like, why are you teaching us
It
this?
was really fun though, and I learned a lot, and I also learned that Krav Maga is a superior fighting style
to
in my opinion.
McMap.
In my opinion, yeah.
Is it a superior fighting style to line?
Well, I'm sure real Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is also superior
Well,
to
BJJ is
actual,
absolutely
like, combatives, like which is supposedly BJJ. Like,
To compare, because I mean, I'm a little trained in BJJ through Gracie School, and I would have to say I liked line training because every single move ended with a kill. Like you stomped their head. It was stomp the grape. Everything ended stomp the grape. And because it was, it was made to fight someone wearing body armor, to fight someone wearing like, a combat utility type of uniform. It was designed for that. So it was effective for that.
Yeah.
As far as like,
What did
weapons and
line
stuff.
stand for again? Do you remember?
Oh, man, I gotta go back to the
I
90s
thought,
for
like,
that.
wasn't it like linear integrated something? Somebody help us out.
Yeah, it would,
Jamie, look that up.
Yeah, it was.
is it? Are you
Nobody got
saying
that
line
joke.
like LINE or LION?
Jamie, look that up. LINE.
It was just LINE.
Yeah.
It was.
It's linear.
Because with y'all's country accents, it sounded a little bit like y'all were
Line.
saying lion.
line training.
I was
Line.
like, that sounds
Line
cool.
training.
Lion training.
That's
I
where
wanna
you
get
maul
some-
them and then you
Go
bite
there.
their
I wanna
face.
get
You
some
go there
lion
and you
training.
roar. You put your head through this hole and you
So-
roar.
Real quick.
Let's see, what is line training? Let's see.
No, I'm curious.
What
What do you got, Charlotte?
Well, I just want to take a moment to reflect on the fact that today is 18 years since the Afghan war started, and we have 3,582 personnel lost since 7 October 2001.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
So
that's sad.
18
Now
years,
I feel
man.
really
That's-
awkward saying what line.
It's crazy that it's
Linear-
good, you should.
Linear infighting neural override engagement.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's
Neural override,
neural
meaning
override engagement.
you stomp
Stomp
the
their
grape.
face. Like I look,
Yeah.
if I'm fighting a bunch of whether it's Chi-Coms or jihadi jakes or freaking Wehrmacht, whatever. Stomping the grape is always a good idea. Stomping the grape is a universal solution
It's
to
gonna be
usually
in
getting
my
people to
repertoire.
stop
I mean-
doing what they're doing.
That's
Like,
going to be in my repertoire if given a life or death situation.
yeah,
100%.
stomp the grape
Sure.
100% of the time. Yes.
Yeah.
If I have to stop you, then I'm gonna stomp your grape.
Man.
That's how it's gonna go. Guys, thank you for tuning in today. It did get a little sidetracked. I'm
Yeah.
pretty incensed. I'm pretty mad.
Yeah, we're
I'm so
mad
like
about
it's
it.
we wouldn't know. I'm just kidding.
18 years today. Take some time, reflect on that idea,
Yeah,
on the
for
thought that
sure.
it's been 18 years since Afghan
Yeah.
started, and we've lost a lot of good men and women, and just reflect on that and be grateful for them. I think, and reflect on their sacrifices and whatnot that we've given up, because it's been a hell of a run. It's been a hell of a run.
Eric Rodriguez said the combatives program is just enough to give you the confidence to get your ass beat.
Yes, very true.
That's like
yes.
You'll always see like the McMatt PFCs out there in like Oceanside or out, and like try to like they get into a bar fight and they immediately go to basic warrior stance like they're gonna do something, and it's just like, okay, kid.
If I'm gonna fight you, you're not gonna I'm gonna hit you. Like you're not gonna see it. Like I'm just gonna be like, you know what? It's time to take this guy's arm. Yeah. Time to do this. Hadouken!
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for tuning in. We will see you on Thursday with our show at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Say goodbye to Charlotte and Mikey.
We had special guests on Thursday, so you'll have to watch. We have some pretty cool guests coming in on Thursday.
We do indeed.
Make sure you watch.
And we will see you then. Y'all take care. Have a good week.
Take it easy.